So let's jump right in. Just 1 month ago, a new conflict kicked off in the region. And, a lot of people thought, okay, this will be short, it'll stay contained, but it's exploded into something way, way more dangerous.
And that quote you're saying, it really hits the nail on the head. This is what we're digging into today. What started as just a spark has turned into this raging fire. It's pulling in the big global players, and honestly, it's threatening to completely reshape the world order. We're stuck in this upward spiral of escalation, and it seems like nobody has the brakes.
All right, so first up, the war is expanding. The battlefield is just growing. It's spilling over its original borders, and it's happening fast. So get this. After one of its big steel plants got hit, Iran came out with this, frankly, chilling declaration. They basically said, the gloves are off. It's not just about military targets anymore. Now they're saying any American interest, we're talking industries, even hotels, is a valid target. I mean, that just raises the stakes for everyone in a huge way. And of course, this puts the United States in a really tough spot. We're talking about a level of pressure on the world's traditional superpower that we just haven't seen in, well, decades. Now, this is a big one. Iran is putting out a shocking number. They're claiming over 500 U.S. personnel have been killed. Let's be clear, the U.S. hasn't confirmed this at all, but just think about it. Even if that number is wildly inflated, say it's only 50, the political explosion from that back in Washington would be absolutely massive.
And it's not just about the soldiers on the ground either. We're seeing high-value, super expensive military gear getting hit. Take this E-3 surveillance plane. There aren't many of these left, and it's basically the eyes and ears for the U.S. in the sky. Getting one of those damaged? That is a huge blow to their intelligence gathering and their whole strategy in the region.
Okay, so when the big guy on the block starts to look a little vulnerable, what happens? People start to get nervous. And that's exactly what we're seeing. It's causing this, like a tectonic shift in the region's politics. Old friendships are starting to crack as countries wonder if their old security blankets are still warm. I mean, for more than 50 years, the deal was simple. The United States was the security guarantor in the Middle East. Period. Everyone knew it. That was the foundation everything else was built on.
But now that American assets are getting hit and their military seems stretched to the limit, that guarantee is starting to look shaky. And so countries are asking a question that not long ago would have been completely unthinkable. Can America actually still protect us? And this is leading to a whole new reality on the ground. You've got major U.S. allies, think Saudi Arabia, the UAE, Qatar, and they're starting to go around Washington. They're making their own deals, talking directly to Ukraine, for example, to get drone defense tech. Why Ukraine? Because they have very recent, very real experience with it. It's a classic case of hedging your bets.
Now, this isn't just a regional problem anymore. The ripple effects are spreading out, and they're threatening to clog up the main arteries of the entire global economy. And here's why. The Houthis in Yemen are officially in the war now. This is huge. Why? Because they sit right on the Red Sea, which is one of the world's most important shipping lanes. So now you have two major choke points at risk: the Strait of Hormuz, which was already a flashpoint, and now the Red Sea. So let's put this in perspective, because the scale of this is just wow. If both of those choke points, Hormuz and the Red Sea, get blockaded, we could be looking at somewhere around 40 to 50% of the world's oil that travels by sea just stopped. Can you imagine what that would do to gas prices, to inflation? It would be an absolute catastrophe for the global economy.
So, while the West is completely tangled up in this crisis, you have to ask, who benefits? Well, there are at least two major global powers who are sitting back, watching it all unfold, and quietly cashing in on the chaos.
First, there's China. They're playing this incredibly smart, subtle game. Reports are saying they're feeding Iran key satellite data and intel. Think about what that does. It lets Beijing see in real time how the U.S. military responds. They get to probe for strengths and weaknesses, all without firing a single shot or putting a single one of their own soldiers in harm's way. It's a proxy test of their biggest rival. And then you've got Russia. For them, it's much more direct. The global oil markets are a mess because of all this, right? Well, that chaos has reportedly sent Russia's oil revenue through the roof. We're talking doubled in just 1 month, up to $24 billion. So this conflict, it's literally paying for Russia's own wars somewhere else. But it's easy to get lost in all the big picture geopolitics, the chess moves between nations. We have to remember that underneath it all, there's a devastating human cost.
And it's making us ask some really hard questions about what war even looks like today. Just take this one number in. Over 250 journalists have allegedly been killed since this all started on October 7th. Let me say that again because it's hard to believe. That's more journalists killed than in World War I and World War II combined. That is a terrifying attack on the very people who are supposed to tell us what's happening. And this quote really gets to the heart of it. There's this growing feeling that this isn't about one group versus another anymore. The normal rules, the lines we thought existed in war, they seem to have just vanished. And it's civilians who are paying the highest price.
And just when you think it can't get worse, technology adds this whole new, terrifying dimension. The source material alleges that AI, artificial intelligence, was used to authorize a strike on a girls' school, and not by accident. The logic apparently was that since the daughters of enemy commanders went there, the school was a valid target. An algorithm may have made a decision to cross a profound ethical line.
So that's where we are after just 1 month. Alliances are shifting under our feet. The global economy is on a knife's edge, and moral lines are being erased by algorithms. It all leaves us with one really sobering question. Is this just another regional conflict, or are we actually watching the beginning of a whole new era? A permanent state of global instability. A much more dangerous world than the one we knew just a few weeks ago.